Earth faced annihilation by a mighty alien fleet, humanity seemed helpless, yet one ship changed everything. With precise strategy and courage, the invaders froze in shock. Intelligence proved stronger than firepower. Don't miss more epic first contact stories. Subscribe now and be part of the adventure. In the far reaches of the galaxy, a fleet of alien ships glided silently through the void, their metallic hulls reflecting distant starlight. These were not ordinary beings, but a race with centuries of experience in conquest. Their entire existence revolved around exploration, domination, and the relentless pursuit of new worlds to control. Every move they made was precise, every mission meticulously planned. Confidence radiated from their command ships, as if the galaxy itself was theirs to claim. The aliens had grown accustomed to finding worlds that fell easily under their influence. Planets with primitive civilizations, whose technology barely scratched the surface of interstellar travel. They had crushed countless societies without a second thought, leaving a trail of fear and obedience in their wake. For generations, they had believed themselves unstoppable, each mission confirming the superiority of their species, each encounter reinforcing the belief that no being could resist their power. As they moved through the dark expanse, their sensors picked up a faint signal. Unlike the usual transmissions of helpless planets, this one was steady, strong, and unusually complex. Curiosity rippled through the fleet as officers tried to decode its meaning. Some dismissed it as a natural phenomenon, while others insisted it was evidence of intelligence. Their debates were heated. Yet beneath the discussion lay an unspoken assumption. They expected no real challenge, convinced that no species could match their might. The planet from which the signal originated was vibrant and alive, its surface a mix of blue oceans and green continents, a world teeming with life, yet seemingly simple, unassuming in the vastness of space. The aliens scanned it with their advanced instruments, measuring energy patterns, communication frequencies, and technological signatures. Everything suggested a young civilization, a planet that had not yet learned the dangers lurking in the cosmos. Yet there was something subtle in the readings, a rhythm that hinted at coordination and intelligence, something the aliens could not immediately grasp. On the alien command ship, officers watched the data carefully, attempting to anticipate what they might face. Their confidence remained, but a faint sense of uncertainty began to creep in. It was unfamiliar, uncomfortable, and quickly dismissed. For the aliens, uncertainty was something rarely encountered. Most worlds had been predictable, obedient, and easy to dominate. This planet, however, emitted signals that were different, deliberate, and unlike anything they had cataloged before. It was as if the planet itself or its inhabitants had hidden strength waiting to be revealed. Meanwhile, the humans on the planet were unaware of the fleet observing them. Their daily lives continued, filled with the usual concerns of work, family, and survival. Technology on the planet had advanced rapidly in the past decades, giving them capabilities that outsiders would underestimate. Sensors, satellites, and defense mechanisms were in place, not for alien fleets, but for monitoring natural phenomena. However, these tools would soon play a critical role, for they had already detected anomalies in space, signs of movement that should have gone unnoticed. The humans had begun quietly assessing these signals, unaware of the looming presence above, yet instinctively preparing for something extraordinary. Back in the alien fleet, tension began to build, though officers struggled to recognize it as such. The calm confidence that had characterized them for generations was being tested. Even the most experienced commanders felt a slight hesitation, as if the universe had shifted in ways they could not control. The fleet slowed, sensors recalibrated, and strategies were reevaluated. There was a subtle shift in the air, a silent acknowledgement that this mission might be unlike any before. Something about the signals, the planet, and the unknown inhabitants suggested the potential for surprise, for resistance, for a challenge that could redefine their understanding of the galaxy. As the fleet drifted silently in orbit, the planet below seemed peaceful, unremarkable, yet full of hidden life and untapped potential. It awaited the moment when the first encounter would shatter assumptions, and the universe would witness that even the smallest signals could carry immense power. For now, though, the calm persisted, a deceptive tranquility masking the extraordinary events about to unfold. The stage was set, The actors unknowingly prepared, and the galaxy itself held its breath. The alien fleet continued to hover silently above the vibrant planet, their sensors scanning every corner with meticulous precision. Officers analyzed the energy signatures and communication patterns, trying to understand the civilization below. They noted the technology was far more advanced than they expected for a seemingly young world. The systems were efficient, coordinated, and clever. But the aliens dismissed much of it at first, believing no species could truly challenge their might. From the planet's surface, humans moved through their daily lives, unaware of the immense fleet watching them. Scientists monitored the skies and space for anomalies, noticing unusual activity that hinted at something approaching. While the humans had no idea of the scale of the alien presence, they were quietly preparing, studying signals and refining defenses. Their communication networks allowed them to share data and predictions quickly, showing a level of organization that would soon prove vital. The aliens debated the nature of the transmissions. Some officers convinced it was a natural phenomenon or a simple planetary defense system. Others argued that intelligence must be involved, their curiosity growing. They had never encountered signals so precise yet so mysterious. The complexity suggested a species capable of thought, strategy, and subtlety, qualities the aliens considered secondary to brute force. Yet, the more they observed, the more uneasy they became, realizing that they might have underestimated the planet below. The planet itself seemed calm, peaceful, and unassuming, its oceans shimmering and continents stretching wide. From orbit, it appeared almost fragile, a soft glow amid the endless black of space. Yet hidden beneath this serene exterior were humans who had learned to harness energy, build intricate communication systems, and develop technologies that could challenge much larger threats. Even without weapons aimed at the stars, they had created tools that gave them awareness, coordination, and insight beyond what the aliens had expected. The human observers noticed anomalies in their instruments, subtle fluctuations in space-time and energy fields. They began to connect these unusual readings, trying to understand their source. Their curiosity and ingenuity drove them forward, pushing them to explore, predict, and prepare. The humans could not yet fully grasp the scope of the approaching alien fleet, but instinctively they knew something monumental was coming. Their ability to adapt quickly and think creatively set them apart, a trait the aliens had not accounted for. Within the alien command ship, tension rose quietly. Though officers tried to maintain their usual composure, the debates grew more intense. Strategies were reconsidered, and multiple contingency plans were drafted. They could no longer ignore the possibility that this planet might present a challenge unlike any before. The aliens prided themselves on understanding and controlling new civilizations. Yet this world's signals seemed designed to resist interpretation, leaving them frustrated and uncertain. As the fleet circled, officers speculated about the planet's inhabitants, imagining primitive beings who might panic when confronted. Their arrogance made them blind to the reality of human ingenuity. They assumed that any intelligence would be predictable, linear, and easily manipulated, but the humans were anything but predictable. Each calculation the aliens made seemed to encounter unexpected complexity, forcing them to pause and reconsider. A faint unease settled over the fleet, the first inkling that they might be stepping into unknown territory. On the planet below, humans worked methodically, analyzing the faint traces of the fleet's approach. Their scientists and engineers collaborated seamlessly, interpreting signals, running simulations, and refining potential responses. They had trained for anomalies, for unexpected cosmic events, though nothing could fully prepare them for a full-scale first contact. Yet their calm, methodical approach mirrored their strength, revealing a species that thrived not through sheer force, but through intelligence, adaptability, and foresight, qualities invisible to most observers from afar. The alien fleet continued to hover, scanning and observing, their confidence beginning to crack beneath the weight of uncertainty. What had seemed like an ordinary, simple planet was revealing a level of organization and subtle intelligence they could not easily dismiss. The humans, meanwhile, remained largely unaware of the scale of their audience, quietly preparing, analyzing, and learning. The stage was set for a confrontation that neither side fully understood. but both were moving inevitably toward the moment of first contact, a meeting that would shake assumptions and forever alter the galaxy. A single human warship emerged from the planet's orbit, sleek, compact, and moving with calculated precision. Its engines left faint trails of light as it cut through the darkness of space. The alien fleet, confident in their superiority, froze at the sight, expecting no resistance from what they assumed was a primitive world. The humans had not sent a signal of aggression, yet their presence alone carried authority, an unspoken message that they were ready, alert, and fully capable of defending themselves. On board the human ship, officers worked calmly, each action deliberate, every system synchronized. They monitored the alien fleet, gathering data on ship numbers, formations, and weapon capabilities. Every maneuver was designed to maximize information while minimizing risk. The humans had anticipated detection, yet they remained composed, aware that even the smallest miscalculation could be catastrophic. Their training, experience, and instinct blended seamlessly, creating a presence that was quiet but undeniably powerful. The alien commanders attempted to assess the human vessel, scanning it with their most advanced instruments. Yet the readings were puzzling, conflicting, and unlike anything in their database. The ship's structure was strong yet nimble, its energy output balanced with extreme efficiency. Defensive systems were subtle, almost invisible, yet formidable. The aliens realized that brute force alone would not overwhelm it. A ripple of unease ran through their ranks, officers exchanging glances of disbelief and concern, something that had rarely occurred in their history of conquest. As the humans maintained their orbit, they began to send subtle signals, not for attack, but for testing the fleet's reactions. These signals were sophisticated, layered with information designed to probe weaknesses and assess strategies. The aliens struggled to interpret them, unsure whether they were dealing with communication, threat, or some form of manipulation. The human approach combined technology with psychology, creating confusion and hesitation in the enemy ranks. Something as simple as a signal became a weapon, a tool to disrupt the assumptions of the supposedly superior species. The alien fleet moved cautiously, uncertain how to respond. Their previous confidence faltered, replaced by careful observation and tentative positioning. Commanders tried to impose order, instructing vessels to prepare for attack, but hesitation lingered. Each ship moved more slowly than necessary, each calculation second-guessed. The human warship seemed to anticipate their actions, altering its course, testing responses, and remaining always just beyond reach. The aliens had never faced an opponent so elusive yet deliberate, so intelligent yet restrained. From the surface of the planet, humans watched as their reconnaissance instruments confirmed the fleet's hesitancy. Scientists and strategists shared information across networks, refining predictions and updating responses. The humans did not celebrate or panic. They focused on observation, understanding, and preparedness. Their approach combined caution with confidence, knowing that knowledge and timing were as important as any weapon. Every calculation was deliberate. Every decision weighed carefully, creating an invisible advantage over the anxious alien commanders. The alien fleet, realizing that conventional intimidation had failed, began to reconsider their approach. Their tactics, which relied on fear and overwhelming force, were suddenly ineffective. Every attempt to maneuver closer or display dominance was met with countermeasures that were subtle but precise. Even their most advanced ships appeared awkward, clumsy in comparison to the human vessel. The realization struck that they were not simply facing a primitive civilization, but one capable of strategy, adaptation, and foresight. A species that could challenge assumptions and disrupt plans with intelligence alone. The human warship continued its silent orbit, never showing aggression but always demonstrating control. Every movement, every signal, was calculated to assert dominance without provoking unnecessary conflict. The aliens, who had expected compliance, felt confusion and fear, a combination they rarely experienced. Their arrogance, built over centuries of conquest, was shaken. Officers questioned protocols, debated strategies, and felt the pressure of uncertainty, something entirely foreign to their species. As the standoff continued, the galaxy seemed to hold its breath, witnessing an encounter where raw power met subtle intelligence, where confidence faced precision, and arrogance encountered ingenuity. The human ship had changed the dynamics of the situation without firing a single weapon. Its mere presence disrupted the alien fleet, created hesitation, and planted the seeds of doubt. This first contact was no longer a simple observation or routine mission, but a test of understanding, capability, and courage, setting the stage for a confrontation that would redefine the balance of power in the galaxy. The alien fleet, shaken by the human warship's unexpected presence, quickly moved to action. Their initial surprise gave way to determination, each vessel preparing to strike with overwhelming force. Alien commanders believed that sheer numbers and superior firepower would crush any resistance. They coordinated their attacks, weapon systems charging, targeting the lone human ship with confidence that victory was inevitable. The humans, however, anticipated this response. Their ship adjusted position with incredible precision, maneuvering to exploit weaknesses in the alien formations. Every movement was calculated, designed to conserve energy while testing the enemy's strategy. The officers aboard the human vessel monitored incoming fire, tracking trajectories and patterns, calculating the optimal responses before the aliens could react. Their technology was advanced, yes, but it was the human mind behind the systems that gave them the edge, blending intuition, experience, and strategy. When the first salvo hit, the alien beams collided with the human ship's defenses. Yet the impact barely affected its hull. The ship's shields absorbed and redirected the energy, dispersing it in ways the aliens had not anticipated. Officers on the alien command ships looked on in disbelief, expecting immediate destruction. Instead, the humans responded with countermeasures that were both clever and unexpected, disabling some of the alien targeting systems, confusing sensors, and even turning parts of the fleet's own weaponry against them. The alien fleet began to falter, their attacks losing coordination. Their commanders tried to adapt, issuing new orders, but hesitation lingered in every calculation. The humans continued their tactical maneuvers, exploiting gaps and weaknesses that the aliens had not noticed. It became clear that raw power alone could not guarantee victory. Strategy, intelligence, and anticipation were now dominating the battlefield, something the aliens had rarely faced in their long history of conquest. On the human ship, officers worked seamlessly, each knowing their role perfectly. Sensors, weapons, and navigation integrated in a way that made the vessel more than a machine. It became a single, intelligent entity, capable of reading the enemy and reacting almost instinctively. Every action was designed to delay, confuse, and outmaneuver the alien fleet, not to destroy, but to demonstrate capability, asserting dominance in a way that required no aggressive rhetoric, only skill, intelligence, and precise coordination. The aliens, for the first time, experienced fear, subtle but real. Their numerical advantage was useless against a species that could predict and counter almost every move. Their confidence eroded with each failed attack, officers murmuring among themselves. Struggling to understand how a single ship could disrupt an entire armada, panic began to spread in small waves, though they tried to maintain order. The humans' unexpected mastery of strategy was something they had never prepared for, and it forced them to confront their own limitations. Meanwhile, back on the planet, human scientists and strategists observed the battle from afar, tracking the alien fleet and analyzing every move. Though they could not intervene directly, they understood the importance of timing and preparation. The humans' calm approach, focus, and ingenuity reflected the strength of a species that relied on intellect as much as technology. It was a lesson that would reverberate throughout the galaxy, demonstrating that power alone was never enough to dominate a capable and intelligent opponent. The alien fleet attempted to regroup, but their formations were inconsistent. Sensors misread positions, and attacks overlapped chaotically. The human ship exploited every opening, maintaining control without overextending. Each adjustment, each maneuver, forced the aliens to rethink their tactics in real time. Confidence eroded further as even the most experienced commanders admitted that conventional strategies were failing. The human vessel, though small and alone, had become a symbol of unpredictability and mastery, challenging the very foundation of the aliens' assumptions. Tension grew across the fleet as officers realized they could not rely on intimidation or brute force. Every move now required careful calculation, yet hesitation slowed response, giving the humans an advantage that no number of ships could overcome. Strategy, observation, and clever improvisation had turned the tide. The aliens' belief in their invincibility was shaken, as one small but intelligent opponent demonstrated that courage and creativity could overcome overwhelming power. The battlefield shifted from a contest of firepower to a contest of minds. The humans proved that anticipation and composure could dominate even the most advanced enemy. The alien fleet had entered a new reality, one where their historical methods of conquest were no longer guaranteed to succeed. And as the standoff continued, it became clear that this encounter would be remembered not for destruction, but for the brilliance and courage of a single species that refused to be underestimated. The human warship, having skillfully evaded and countered the alien fleet's attacks, prepared a move that would change the course of the encounter entirely. Its officers coordinated quietly, sending out a sophisticated signal designed not to harm, but to confuse and immobilize the enemy. The signal was a combination of advanced technology, psychological strategy, and precise timing, something the aliens had never anticipated. They watched, confused, as their systems began to fail, communications faltered, and entire sections of the fleet froze in place, unable to respond. The alien commanders, confident in their superiority just moments before, now faced an unsettling reality. Their orders went unheeded. Weapon systems shut down unexpectedly, and even their most experienced officers struggled to understand what was happening. Panic spread through the ranks as the human signal continued to ripple through their networks. It was not destruction they faced, but disruption, something far more dangerous to their pride and control. Their arrogance, built over centuries of conquest, could not withstand the realization that intelligence and strategy could overpower raw power. On board the human ship, officers monitored the effects of the signal with precision, adjusting its patterns in real time to maintain the edge. Every calculation was deliberate. Every change designed to keep the alien fleet in stasis. The crew remained calm, focused, and confident. Their training and discipline evident in every action. It was not brute strength that had brought them this advantage, but the combination of foresight, technical expertise, and a deep understanding of their adversary. Each officer knew that even a small mistake could undo everything. So they moved with synchronized perfection. The frozen alien fleet became a spectacle of contrast, once proud and dominant, now immobilized. A display of vulnerability that stunned even the lowest-ranking officers. Ships hovered silently in space, weapons inactive, sensors blinking but unresponsive. The humans had demonstrated that thought, creativity, and precise action could achieve what sheer force never could. Even the commanders, who had faced countless civilizations in war, could not ignore the brilliance of the humans' tactics. It was a lesson in humility, and a warning that underestimating this species could be catastrophic. As the signal continued, small groups of alien vessels attempted to break free, but each move was countered instantly. The human warship adjusted, predicting possible reactions, and ensuring the fleet remained immobilized. What began as a simple act of observation had turned into an exhibition of human ingenuity. The aliens were forced to reconsider everything they had assumed about power, dominance, and the potential of a single intelligent opponent. Their centuries of conquest offered no guide to handle this unexpected brilliance, and frustration grew in every command deck. Meanwhile, on the planet below, humans observed the standoff with growing awe and understanding. Scientists and strategists analyzed every effect, every reaction, learning in real time from the demonstration of their own species' potential. While they had anticipated challenges, nothing prepared them for the sight of an entire fleet immobilized by a single ship. It reinforced their belief in preparation, intelligence, and the power of strategy, showing that courage combined with clever planning could overcome even the most overwhelming force. Within the alien fleet, fear became a subtle but undeniable presence. A species accustomed to domination was suddenly powerless, immobilized by an intelligence they had dismissed. Officers who had once spoken with certainty now murmured in confusion, questioning assumptions and past victories. Their confidence, the cornerstone of centuries of conquest, had crumbled. The humans' bold yet precise actions had not only neutralized their immediate threat, but had also shaken the aliens' understanding of the universe. The human ship, calm and controlled, demonstrated that restraint could be as powerful as aggression. They did not annihilate the alien fleet. Instead, they used intellect and timing to assert dominance, showing that a single, well-prepared species could hold its own against overwhelming numbers. The aliens realized that force alone would never be enough against a species capable of strategy, foresight, and creativity. Each moment of hesitation, each frozen ship, reinforced the humans' unexpected superiority. As the standoff continued, the galaxy seemed to watch silently, witnessing a moment where ingenuity triumphed over brute strength, where a single species demonstrated that courage, intelligence, and preparation could overcome even the most advanced adversaries. The human warship had not just defended its planet, it had sent a message across the stars, a message that would echo for generations, proving that the combination of mind, skill, and strategy could turn the tide of even the deadliest confrontation. The alien fleet, still immobilized by the human signal, drifted silently in space, their ships blinking with inactive lights. A feeling of confusion and fear spread among their ranks. Officers and commanders alike struggled to understand what had happened. This had never occurred before, not in centuries of conquest and domination. Entire civilizations had fallen before them without resistance. Yet here, in the emptiness of space above a seemingly ordinary planet, they were powerless, trapped by an intelligence they had dismissed. On the planet below, humans observed the fleet's immobilization with a mix of relief and focus. Their scientists, strategists, and engineers monitored every detail, analyzing the alien formations. The success of the signal had provided them with a moment to learn, to understand the tactics and technologies of the fleet. Each observation was meticulously recorded. Every unexpected reaction, every failed maneuver of the aliens added to their growing knowledge. They realized that this encounter was more than just survival. It was an opportunity to study and adapt. News of the immobilized fleet spread quickly among human command centers. While the general public remained unaware, specialized teams celebrated quietly, knowing that humanity had demonstrated extraordinary capability. This first confrontation had proven that preparation, intelligence, and courage could level the playing field against a much stronger opponent. Across communications networks, teams shared insights and predictions, creating a framework that would guide humanity's future encounters with the unknown. Even as they studied the fleet, humans remained calm, knowing that overconfidence could be dangerous. The alien commanders, meanwhile, attempted to regain control, issuing repeated orders, but each command met failure. Their sophisticated systems could not cope with the disruption. Their advanced technology, usually unchallenged, had been rendered ineffective by a species they had underestimated. Frustration and fear now replaced arrogance and confidence. Officers whispered among themselves, questioning the assumptions of their past victories. How could a single species, a single ship, immobilize an entire fleet? They began to realize that humans were not merely another civilization. They were a species to be respected, feared, and understood. As the fleet hung motionless, distant observers from other alien empires began to take note. Reports of the encounter spread through communication channels, transmitting astonishment and alarm. Some dismissed the stories as exaggeration, yet others began to recognize the implications. A small, intelligent species had demonstrated the ability to neutralize the most powerful armada in the sector. It challenged long-held beliefs about dominance, power, and the vulnerability of advanced civilizations. The galaxy itself seemed to pause, acknowledging that humans could no longer be ignored. The human warship, still in orbit, remained vigilant but unthreatening. Its presence alone was enough to control the situation. Officers coordinated subtle signals to maintain the immobilization of the alien fleet. They did not need to attack or destroy. Their strategy relied on precision, patience, and intelligence. Each human action demonstrated a combination of calm, foresight, and control, reinforcing the message that humans were both clever and capable. Their ability to dominate without aggression left the aliens bewildered and impressed. Back on the planet, humans discussed potential next steps, debating whether to make their presence known overtly or to continue observation. Their decisions reflected a careful balance between caution and confidence. The encounter had proven that humans could survive and even dominate in situations that seemed hopeless. Yet, they knew that arrogance could be dangerous, and preparation remained their most valuable tool. Every lesson learned during this first contact would strengthen humanity's ability to face future threats. The importance of observation, strategy, and restraint had never been clearer. Within the alien fleet, tension and uncertainty continued. Even ships that had been the pride of the Armada were frozen, their crews unable to act. The sense of invincibility that had defined their species for centuries was gone, replaced by fear and disbelief. Some officers argued for retreat, while others insisted on attempting to override the human control. Each option carried risk, and each failure further emphasized the humans' unexpected superiority. The encounter had shaken not just the fleet, but the foundation of alien confidence in the galaxy. As hours passed, the signal maintained its effect, and humans gained more insight into alien responses. Patterns began to emerge, showing how the fleet could be disrupted, which systems were vulnerable, and how strategic planning could create the ultimate advantage. The aliens, for their part, began to understand that underestimating humans was a fatal mistake. Their arrogance had been punished, and their assumptions about superiority had been proven dangerously wrong. Humanity had demonstrated that intelligence, courage, and preparation could challenge even the most advanced adversaries. The first contact had not been a battle of destruction, but a demonstration of brilliance and control. Humans had proven that a single species could change the dynamics of an entire conflict through strategy and ingenuity. The immobilized fleet became a lesson for the galaxy, showing that dominance was not just about power, but about the ability to think, adapt, and act with precision. The stage had been set for a new understanding of human capability, and the galaxy would never look at this species the same way again. The alien fleet, still immobilized by the human warship's signal, began to retreat slowly, their confidence shattered and their pride wounded. Officers who had once believed in their invincibility now whispered among themselves, trying to make sense of a situation they had never faced before. For centuries, they had dominated countless civilizations, crushing resistance without effort. Yet here, above a single planet, they had been outmaneuvered and outthought by one species. The realization struck hard. Brute force alone was not enough, and underestimating humans had been a grave mistake. On the human ship, officers maintained their calm, monitoring the retreat and ensuring no hidden threats remained. Each system worked seamlessly, each calculation precise. Humans had not only neutralized the immediate danger, but had also demonstrated their ability to dominate with strategy and intelligence. Their actions reflected discipline, foresight, and courage, showing the galaxy that power was more than just weapons or numbers. Even as the fleet withdrew, humans continued to analyze their movements, recording every reaction to understand alien tactics and prepare for the future. The alien commanders struggled to communicate with their fleets, confusion still rampant. Orders that had once been absolute were now questioned. Hesitation and uncertainty spread through ranks accustomed to unquestioned obedience. Every ship that had once been a symbol of dominance now represented vulnerability. The humans' demonstration of control without direct violence had left a lasting impression, a psychological mark that would affect every officer who had witnessed it. Confidence eroded and fear began to linger, a sensation rare for a species so used to triumph. Back on the planet, humans discussed the significance of the encounter. Their scientists and strategists realized that humanity had not only survived, but had altered the perception of their species across the galaxy. Observation and careful planning had turned a potential disaster into an extraordinary victory. Every lesson learned during the engagement would be applied to future defenses and strategies. The humans recognized the value of restraint and intelligence over aggression. Understanding that the galaxy was full of unknown dangers, they prepared to meet them not just with power, but with ingenuity, foresight, and cooperation. Reports of the retreat spread among nearby alien civilizations, generating a mixture of disbelief and concern. Some dismissed the encounter as exaggerated, while others began to rethink their assumptions about human capabilities. Across the galaxy, the story of a single human warship immobilizing an entire fleet circulated quickly. Alien commanders debated what this meant for the balance of power. The encounter challenged long-standing beliefs about strength, dominance, and the predictability of less advanced species. Humans had proven that intelligence, creativity, and courage could match or surpass sheer technological might. The human warship continued to hover in orbit, vigilant but unthreatening. Its presence served as both a shield and a statement. Humans demonstrated that they could control a dangerous situation without unnecessary aggression. Their mastery of strategy had neutralized the enemy, not destroyed it, showing that the real power lay in clever thinking, preparation, and discipline. Each maneuver, each decision, reinforced the idea that humans were a species capable of shaping outcomes on a galactic scale. The alien fleet, humbled and cautious, had learned a lesson they would not forget. As the retreat continued, alien officers attempted to reassess their tactics, but the human advantage was clear. The fleet's formation was disorganized, their morale damaged, and their belief in invincibility gone. The humans had set a precedent, demonstrating that even a single species could influence galactic events without overwhelming force. This first confrontation had shifted the power dynamic, proving that intelligence and strategy could triumph where numbers and weapons might fail. The aliens began to plan with caution, knowing that any future engagement with humans would require far more preparation and respect. The humans, meanwhile, began to prepare for long-term implications, studying alien responses, predicting potential threats, and strengthening defenses. They understood that this victory was not the end, but the beginning of a new era, one in which humanity would be recognized as a species capable of holding its own against the galaxy's most formidable forces. Their confidence was quiet but strong, grounded in preparation, skill, and understanding. Each officer and strategist aware that the first encounter had demonstrated both their potential and the responsibilities that came with it. The immobilized fleet had retreated, leaving the human warship and planet unscathed. The encounter would be remembered as a moment when humanity had faced overwhelming odds and emerged not just alive, but dominant in strategy and intellect. Across the galaxy, whispers and reports began to circulate about the capabilities of this unexpected species. The aliens had learned humility, the humans had learned the value of careful planning, and the balance of power had subtly but irrevocably shifted. Humanity's reputation as a formidable and clever species had been firmly established. Even as calm returned to the planet and orbit, the impact of the first encounter lingered. Its lessons and implications would shape humanity's future interactions with the cosmos. The aliens would carry the memory of their defeat, cautious and respectful, while humans continued to prepare, adapt, and evolve. The galaxy had witnessed the first true demonstration of human ingenuity and courage. A single species proving that intelligence, strategy, and foresight could rival and even surpass overwhelming force. The stage had been set for a new chapter in galactic history, where humans were no longer underestimated. The alien fleet, finally retreating from the planet, left a stunned silence in space. Their confidence, once absolute, had been shattered by the human warship's unexpected brilliance. Officers whispered among themselves, trying to process the encounter, questioning centuries of assumptions about power, dominance, and superiority. For the first time, they understood that intelligence, strategy, and foresight could overcome even the most advanced technology and overwhelming numbers. Humanity had proven itself not just capable of survival, but of mastery in a situation that should have been hopeless. The human warship remained in orbit, vigilant yet calm. Its officers monitored the retreating fleet, ensuring that no hidden threats remained. Each system worked seamlessly, the crew functioning as a single, coordinated mind. The humans had achieved control without aggression, demonstrating that mastery did not require destruction. Their presence and actions had conveyed a clear message. Any species that underestimated humans would do so at its peril. The warship's success reflected not just advanced technology, but the brilliance, discipline, and courage of the species behind it. From the planet below, humans watched with quiet satisfaction, analyzing every movement of the retreating fleet. Their scientists and strategists studied the alien responses, collecting data that would inform future defenses. Every anomaly, every hesitation, every failed maneuver became a lesson in understanding and preparation. The humans realized that survival and victory were products of intelligence, observation, and timing, rather than brute force alone. This first encounter had provided an unparalleled opportunity to demonstrate both capability and restraint, showing the galaxy the full potential of human ingenuity. The aliens, meanwhile, struggled to regain composure. Their pride wounded, their assumptions proven dangerously wrong. Even the most experienced commanders recognized that conventional tactics would no longer suffice against this unexpected species. The fleet moved cautiously now, scanning every sector, wary of traps or hidden strategies. Their confidence replaced by calculation and fear. A species that had once seemed insignificant had changed their understanding of interstellar power, and that lesson would not be forgotten. Across the galaxy, the effects of this encounter began to spread. Reports reached distant civilizations, spreading astonishment and concern. Some dismissed the event as exaggeration, while others recognized its significance. A single human warship had neutralized an entire fleet without direct conflict, demonstrating intelligence, foresight, and strategy that rivaled or surpassed technology alone. Whispers of human capability began to circulate, altering perceptions and expectations. The galaxy had witnessed the rise of a species capable of reshaping the balance of power, not through aggression, but through brilliance and preparation. On board the human warship, officers remained focused, knowing that vigilance was still necessary. The retreat of the alien fleet did not mark the end of challenges, but it did confirm the strength and potential of humanity. Their success was measured not just in control, but in the lessons learned. The humans had turned a dangerous situation into an opportunity for study, preparation, and demonstration of skill. Every move had been deliberate, every decision calculated, showing the value of discipline and intelligence over raw power. As the alien fleet disappeared into the depths of space, humanity's position had been firmly established. The encounter had shifted the perception of the species across the galaxy. From this moment on, humans would no longer be seen as a minor, primitive civilization. They were recognized as capable, clever, and formidable. A species that could think, anticipate, and act with precision against overwhelming odds. Even the faintest signal from a human vessel could no longer be ignored. Their potential had been proven. And the galaxy had taken note. Back on the planet, humans began to prepare for the implications of what had occurred. Strategists, scientists, and officers reviewed every aspect of the encounter, analyzing the alien fleet's weaknesses and patterns. They planned for future first contacts, anticipating threats and opportunities alike. Every lesson learned in this first encounter would shape humanity's future interactions with the stars. The encounter had not just been a battle, but a demonstration of capability, courage, and intelligence, showing that even a single species could influence galactic events profoundly. The alien fleet's retreat marked the end of the immediate threat, but the galaxy would remember this event for generations. Humans had rewritten expectations, proving that preparation, strategy, and foresight could dominate even the most advanced adversaries. The encounter had become a benchmark, a story of cleverness overcoming power and courage meeting fear. Humanity's first victory had been subtle but absolute, achieved not through destruction, but through skill, anticipation, and understanding. The warship had left an enduring impression, a signal to all. Humanity could not be underestimated. Even as calm returned to the planet and orbit, the impact of the first encounter resonated throughout space. Humans had proven that intelligence and strategy were weapons just as powerful as fleets and weapons. The aliens carried with them the lesson that arrogance was dangerous, assumptions could be fatal, and underestimated opponents could hold unimaginable power. The galaxy had witnessed the first true demonstration of human brilliance and courage, a species that, against all odds, had turned the tide with insight, calculation, and mastery. The stage was now set for humanity to take its place among the stars, respected, feared, and recognized for its potential.